Welcome back to Football Picks. This is handsome Howard Kamen alongside Uncle Ben Walderman from Ben Sports Picks.
UncleBensFootball.com.
Oh, great. Well, he'll tell you exactly what it is. But Ben, you really shine in the college. That's where, over the last few years, you've done really, really, really well. And you do well in the NFL as well. You've gone around 500 there this year. But this is the time of the year where everybody's focused on college. The bowl games are coming up. Teams are fighting for rankings. And I know there's a couple games this week you really, really fell in love with. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Well, thanks, Howard. We have done well over the years in college football, but what have you done for me lately is basically how it
Everybody
works in this business. About a few short weeks ago, we were 9 games over 500. Now we're only 3 games. We've had a couple of shaky weeks. We're hoping to get back on track big time this week, so let's get down to it. First game is an in-state rivals. The Michigan Wolverines playing the Michigan State Spartans. Obviously, a great rivalry down there in the state of Michigan, close by to Ontario. The Spartans are favored by 5.5 here, and the Wolverines put up 63 points 2 weeks ago. They had the bye last week against Indiana. There's only one big problem this week, Howard. They're coming in to play the Michigan State Spartans that have the #1 ranked defense in college football. They've held 5 of their last 6 opponents to season low in yardage, meaning that when teams come in and they whatever they average typically, they're not getting that when they play against the Michigan State Spartans. So they're the only team in the nation that hasn't allowed a 100-yard rusher all year. They've covered 5 straight against the Michigan Wolverines. They're 12-2 against the spread versus rested opposition. This team plays well at home. They're 6-1 against the spread as a conference favorite of less than 7 points. The spread here is 5.5. And Michigan State's 4-1 against the spread with Big Ten revenge. They lost last year also to Michigan up at the Big House in Ann Arbor, 12-10. And the Wolverines, get this, guys. The Wolverines in Big Ten play, they're 1-15 straight up, 2-13-2 against the spread. Their last 16 as Big Ten underdogs, Howard.
Wow.
So when this team goes in as an underdog, they don't do very well, and they're 9-0 straight up and against the spread as dogs of 6 or fewer points. I like the Michigan State Spartans here at home. Like I said, they've got revenge on their side. They've got the #1 defense in the nation. I say take the Michigan State Spartans -5.5 to put it to their in-state rival, Michigan Wolverines, in this Saturday. Big game down in East Lansing, Michigan.
You heard it, Michigan State minus the 5.5?
Minus 5.5.
Okay.
Another team that I'm looking at this week is the UCLA Bruins. Now, this is a team that last week, like you said, they played Oregon. They looked pretty good halfway through the game. They got blown out in the second half. But I really like this spot for the UCLA Bruins. Like I said, they're coming off 2 losses. They were at Stanford 2 weeks ago, the #5 team in the nation. Last week they played at Oregon, the #2 team in the nation. Now they're playing against a Colorado team that's 3-4 at home. Colorado's wins, by the way, have come against teams like Colorado State, Central Arkansas, whoever the heck they are,
high school
and
teams.
Charleston Southern, again, whoever the heck they are. I don't know, Dave, but not good teams, okay? They're 0-12 in Pac-12. They're 0-4, when they play in their conference. They're 0-4 straight up in their conference. They're 0-4 against the spread. They've lost the stats in every game by over 200 yards on offense. They don't stack up well against good teams. And after playing Stanford and Oregon, UCLA is going to find things a lot easier this Saturday, okay? It's their last chance to roll it up, by the way, because they do have games coming up against Arizona, Washington, Arizona State, and USC. Very difficult teams, right? This is their last chance to, for the Hollywood boys to show it up here at home. And Brett Hundley's going to see a lot more separation, easier reads. UCLA defense won't get pushed at all by Colorado. The spread here is 27 points, Howard. Even though it's Halloween, that doesn't scare me at all, I can tell you. Take the UCLA Bruins -27 to win this one going away. It's going to be a walk away versus the 113th ranked defense of the Colorado Buffaloes.
You heard that. UCLA minus the 27 against Colorado. I like that pick, Ben. I think they're ready to blow that team up. Somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 62-10 or something.
Well, it's going to be. I just think they're going to roll it up. It's going to be. Obviously the weather's good in LA. Won't be a factor in the game. Like I said, this is their last big chance to give it the Hollywood try. And they got a good opponent there to beat up on in the Colorado Buffaloes. This team just does not travel well. Getting to my final pick of the week here. This is a very tight ball game in the Big 12. The Oklahoma State Cowboys +3 points going in to play the Texas Tech Red Raiders 7-1. They started 7-0 the Red Raiders with Cliff Kingsbury coming over from Texas A&M, he was the offensive coordinator there last year when Johnny Manziel went wild.
Yep.
He came over, he got the head coaching job at Texas Tech, did a great job, okay? They started out 7-0, but they're one-dimensional, this team. They're third passing in the NCAA, but they're 106 rushing. And when you know, that works against teams like Iowa State and, you know, West Virginia, SMU, Stephen F. Austin, Texas State, and Kansas, which are the teams they've beaten. But last week they showed their true colors. When you become one-dimensional, you become easier to defend. Oklahoma beat them up last week. Now they're going to have to play Oklahoma State, Baylor, and Texas. So we'll really see how good this team is, Texas Tech. And I don't think they're going to be able to handle it against these better programs of the Big 12. And they're also favored at home here. You look at Oklahoma State after a sluggish start. This team's hitting their stride. They just played 3 Big 12 games in a row, all winning in convincing fashion. They're 4-0 straight up and against the spread, their last 4 in the series. 6-1 against the spread as a conference road dog of less than 7 points. All fitting in very nicely in this scenario here. Head coach Mike Gundy also shines in these situations against teams that is defeated in his last meeting, going 14-1 straight up, 12-1 against the spread, including 8-0-1 against the spread on the road. So this team travels well, and when he gets a beat on a team, Mike Gundy, he seems to be able to keep those teams down. Okay. I look for OSU to continue their winning ways this week while Texas Tech takes a few more steps backward, I'd say. Oklahoma State +3. I don't think you're going to need the points in this one, Howard. Oklahoma State's going to win outright, right in Texas. I like the Oklahoma State Cowboys +3 to win this game.
You heard that play, folks, coming straight out of Uncle Ben's mouth. Oklahoma State -3, right?
+3 points.
+3.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned another team when you were talking. This is a team that's really impressed me this year. I mean, they seem to win every game by such a huge margin. The Baylor Bears.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their margin of victory has been, but every time I look at the results from the week before, they win like 72-10, and they seem to. Is this team for real? Is this a team that can compete for the national title, or are they just got a weak schedule? I mean, what's your take on the Baylor Bears?
Well, Art Briles, their coach, is phenomenal. You know, they've been going pretty strong now for about 5 or 6 years offensively. They had RG3, when he got drafted. Then they had Nick Florence last year. Now they got Petty quartering. And this team just rolls up points like there's no tomorrow. I think they're averaging over 70 points a game, Howard, but we're going to get that set here. They're averaging 64 points a game. Okay, they're number 1 in offense. Now, granted, they haven't played the hard schedule, like you said. Their hard schedules are coming up. They got the week off this week. They got Oklahoma Sooners next week at home. They got the Texas Tech Red Raiders, who I just mentioned, have started 7-0, but I'm not convinced on that team at all. Then they still have to play Oklahoma State, TCU, and Texas. So the meat of their schedule is coming
up now.
Now, this team, they'll score on anyone. You cannot stop this team. It'd be interesting to see this team play the Oregon Ducks, for example. That would be, the over-under could be 100.
300.
Yeah, but this team can roll it up on offense, certainly. They've got 2 Heisman Trophy candidates. Their quarterback, Petty. Their running back, Sistrunk. They're a great team. They're just a great football team offensively. Art Briles is actually in the discussions for the head coaching job at the University of Southern California, although he says he doesn't want to move, which means that he most likely will move because that's how it normally goes, Howard. But, this is a great football team, but it remains to be seen how really good they are. These last 4 weeks in November will tell the tale.
We shall see. Folks, that wraps up our show today. Great hearing all your picks. We'll see the results. We'll see how things pan out. I tend to agree with many of your picks, both in the college and in the NFL, and we'll see how everything pans out. So let's have a great week. Good luck to everybody out there with their wagers. Make sure you follow Ben's tips as far as don't parlay out there. Don't make those stupid parlay picks. Don't go with the teasers, and consistent bet wagering, unless of course Ben has one of his big plays, which he does have one this week. You can take a little bit extra shot. Everybody have a great week. Enjoy football. Make some money, and we'll see you next week back on Football Picks.